So, instead of talking your ear off, I'd much rather prefer get straight to business. Without much explanation at all, we all know what a prime ribeye is. 2 inches thick, roughly. This is what we're going to be doing today. So, the basics. Give me a second here. We are going to be doing a reverse sear on that steak. So what we're going to do is first let that steak come up to room temp. While it's doing that, we need to get this steak seasoned, okay? Now, me personally, I have my own rubs that I like to use. They're store-bought. I don't make them. I do have my own rubs that I kind of integrate. But for today's video, open up the cabinet here. We're going to be using a base salt, pepper, garlic from Sucklebusters. As soon as that's rubbed down, we're going to be using Lane's Barbecue Ancho Espresso on top of that. Now, don't feel like you have to rewind because I'm going to put all the links in the description down below if you guys are interested on exactly how I cook this steak today. Y'all stay tuned. I'm going to get this thing seasoned, and I might be able to do like a time lapse or something. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I've actually dried the steak completely. I might rub it down with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil just so that seasoning sticks to the steak a little better. But other than that, pretty self-explanatory. Let's get to it. Okay guys, once you've got your steak seasoned with whatever, you don't have to use the seasoning that I'm using. Once your steak is seasoned, let it rest for at least 30 minutes to an hour to bring it up to room temperature. The concept behind a low and slow cook first lets me keep all of those juices inside that steak. I'm going to have a beautiful pink all the way through that steak. So what we're going to do along the way, I'll show you. Right here we're cooking on my Mini Max, as you guys can see, or my Big Green Egg Mini Max. So right now I've got the coals going in one spot. Okay, Coals are getting pretty warm now, so what we're going to do, if you have a Komodo style cooker like this, put in your plate setter and put on your grate. I do apologize for it being a little shaky. I'm the only one out here. So what we're gonna do now that that's in there, I'm gonna open this on the top all the way. I've got my vent on the bottom all the way open as well. So what we're going to do now, we're going to wait for the grill to get to 250 degrees, 225 degrees, somewhere around there. Whoa, whitewash, I'm a ghost. We're going to let that get to about 225, 250. We're going to slap the steak on there. Once the steak gets to 90 degrees or so internal temp, if you're not confident with cooking by temperature just yet, get you a wireless thermometer or something. You know, that's how I started out. So just for demonstration purposes, that's what we're gonna do today so you guys can see, so you can nail it every single time. Get your steak on there, flip it at about 90 degrees internal temp, cook to about 118, and then we'll go from there, okay? Hang in there, guys. Alright guys, we got the grill cranking out at about 250 degrees. Let's go ahead and get that prime ribeye on there and I'll show you guys how to probe it. Alright guys, when you get the steak on here, you want to go dead center of that ribeye. Get about halfway up into the center of that ribeye right there with your probe. Okay guys, it has been what feels like a very long time. About 45 minutes. The steak's been on here cooking real low and slow at about 250 degrees. Right now, let me see if I can get this on the camera. But we're at 118 degrees internal temp. So we're going to go ahead and pull this probe out and get this steak off. We're going to let this rest for a little bit while this temperature on the grill comes up. Can you guys see that? Oh yeah. If you guys think that looks good, y'all need to stick around and see what it looks like after the sear. Now another really good housekeeping tip is going to be clean this grill once you've done low and slowed it, because we want a really clean surface before we throw that thing back on there. We're going to try to get some really good grill marks on this steak. So we're going to pull this grate out right here. Guys, don't be idiots. Don't be silly. Wear a fire protector glove or wear something that's heat resistant or high heat resistant, because this plate setter and these big green eggs, right now this thing's probably about 300-400 degrees. So we're going to pull this out. I'm going to set it down on the side by the grill. Get that grill grate back in there. And now what we're going to do is open up the vents on the very bottom and open this daisy wheel up all the way. And it's the same thing on, you know, if you're doing it on a Weber, you're doing it on whatever else. Cook indirect, remove the indirect source. So in my case, it's going to be that plate setter that comes in these big green eggs. And then open the vents wide up. You're going to want this grill at about 600 to 700 degrees. Alright guys, we have this grill cranking out about 625, 650 degrees right now. So what we're going to do is grab our tongs and we're going to throw this steak on, and you're going to hear it start searing. This is exactly what you want to hear right here. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. So what you're going to do is let that sear for 45 seconds on that side. And then we're going to flip it and do another 45 seconds. And then we're going to rotate the steak 90 degrees and flip again for 45 seconds. And then we'll flip it one last time for 45 seconds for a total of 3 minutes. Alright, it's time to flip it. cook for 45 seconds. Alright, now we're going to get into our second flip, but remember, this one we're turning 90 degrees. Beautiful. Just like that. Now you're going to cook it like this for another 45 seconds. Look at that, guys. It looks delicious. I can't wait. Alright guys, we're coming up on our last flip. Don't let the flames scare you. That's going to be our last flip, and we're going to let that cook for 45 seconds. We're going to pull it off, and I'll see you guys inside. Alright guys, so we're about to cut into this beautiful 2-inch thick ribeye, prime ribeye. Let's do a little bit of a recap here real fast, and we're going to roll outro out of this glorious thing of a steak. So to start off with, we brought our steak up to room temp while it was seasoned. We did a salt, pepper, garlic base, and then we did some Ancho Espresso on the steak. Once we got it up to where we wanted, I let it rest for about 45 minutes inside. I got my grill going at about 225 with the plates that are in there, or the heat deflector, so we could do some indirect cooking. Slapped the steak on there at 225, 250 degrees, and then we flipped it once the steak got to an internal temperature of 90 degrees. Once we got to 90 degrees, we flipped it one time, brought the internal temperature up to 118, pulled off, we removed our heat deflector, and then we brought the grill temperature up about 625 to 650 degrees. Once that was done, we went ahead and seared this bad boy 45 seconds each side. So we did 45 seconds flip, 45 seconds we flipped and did a 90-degree turn, 45 seconds, and we flipped one last time. With this method, you don't need to let it rest. This thing's been sitting here now for about 5-6 minutes anyways, but you don't need to necessarily let it rest. That's the purpose for searing it in. That, and also, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's a really nice charry crust that's built up on top of this steak now, and I can't wait to cut into it. I'm really going to be kicking myself in the butt if we cut this open and it's not a beautiful medium rare. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this bad boy open. I just don't know if y'all can handle it. Oh. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see that right there? That is steak at its finest, my friends. Well, I am gonna get off here. This is Big Nate with Big Nate's Barbecue. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, ask below. I'm going to put everything in the description of how I did everything today, seasonings that I used, and my cutting board, my knife, just in case you guys have any questions. And I'm going to show you guys one last shot of this. I'll see you on the next one.